The US government just made a monumental move that is set to change everything about artificial intelligence as we know it. In an unprecedented executive order, President Biden has asserted sweeping new standards for AI safety, security, and oversight that demonstrate just how seriously the government is taking potential risks from this rapidly advancing technology. The order establishes the most comprehensive actions ever taken by any government to address imminent threats posed by AI systems. For the first time, developers of the most powerful AI models will be required to share internal safety test results and other critical details directly with the federal government before making them available to the public. This mandate for transparency from major AI players like Google, Microsoft, and Meta is a dramatic assertion of oversight of the industry. No longer will corporate labs be able to hide dangerous flaws or biases in influential technologies like chatbots or image generators. This peek behind the curtain of AI development marks a major shift as risks of misinformation and discrimination from AI grow. According to the details, any company developing foundational AI models that could pose national, economic, or public health threats must proactively notify the government when training the system. They will then have to provide comprehensive data from all internal safety checks and red team testing conducted. This will give federal agencies direct access to stress tests, probing for flaws, vulnerabilities, and potential harms early in the design process. While tech companies may grumble about this level of scrutiny, it's a clear sign that an era of unfettered AI progress in the name of innovation is ending. The public good now takes priority, but the administration isn't stopping there. The order also prioritizes developing robust new standards for vetting AI before the public ever interacts with it. This includes empowering the National Institute for Standards and Technology to establish benchmarks for rigorous red team testing that specifically highlight biases, safety issues, and security gaps. The Department of Homeland Security will then enforce these standards, especially among critical infrastructure providers, to ensure compliance across the board. Any organization, public or private, seeking to release an impactful AI application will first have to meet strict safety requirements. Again, this strategy demonstrates the proactive stance the government is taking to build guardrails around AI well before it is embedded into everyday life. By laying this groundwork early, risky implementations can hopefully be avoided altogether. It also shows how closely the government is monitoring developments in neural networks, natural language processing, and other cutting-edge spheres to stay ahead of the curve. Altogether, this sweeping executive order signifies a watershed moment for AI oversight as the White House asserts unprecedented control amid rising global tensions. It makes clear that the US will no longer tolerate unaccountable AI systems that fail to meet strict new safety requirements. Beyond asserting unprecedented oversight to contain AI threats, this sweeping order also aims to address more fundamental questions about the role of artificial intelligence in society. Several key measures demonstrate that issues of discrimination, privacy, innovation, and cooperation are all top of mind for policymakers as they shape this technology's future trajectory. First, the order mandates clear guidance for justice, healthcare, and housing sectors to prevent algorithms from exacerbating discrimination. As AI becomes further enmeshed in high-stakes decision-making processes affecting people's lives, there are growing concerns that automation could propagate underlying biases. By requiring safeguards proactively, the government is signaling that civil rights matter as much as security. You cannot address one without the other. This reflects lessons learned from controversial trials of risk assessment algorithms in law enforcement and recruitment tools that entrenched discrimination. It remains concerning how discrimination can be defined and prevented in practice, but the intent is clear. AI must not enable digital injustice. Additionally, the order calls for enhancing privacy protections and assessing privacy risks stemming from the vast data hunger of AI systems. As these advanced algorithms ingest exponentially more personal information, they heighten incentives and opportunities for exploitation. By evaluating current data practices and identifying gaps, policymakers aim to curtail surveillance overreach in AI's ascent. Provisions for funding research into privacy-preserving techniques offer some hope that individual rights can be upheld, even as data collection grows increasingly intrusive. However, technology often moves faster than policy, so can government oversight truly rein in privacy risks before harm is done? More importantly, will people even notice the gradual erosion of their digital freedoms in the convenience of AI? In tension with these safeguards, the Order also promotes AI innovation by providing resources for researchers and startups. New provisions promise expanded cloud computing access and datasets to empower more stakeholders in advancing the field beyond megacorporations. However, among these research investments are reporting requirements for systems above a certain scale or computational power, perhaps an attempt to keep tabs on who is building what. While seeking to democratize opportunities, these caveats and compliance burdens may inadvertently stifle pioneers on the cutting edge. Can policymakers strike the right balance between insight and interference? And do they risk constraining American innovation while rivals double down abroad? This brings us to the final provision on international cooperation. The Order directs the government to work alongside global partners on shared AI safety principles. This reflects a recognition that AI's impacts transcend borders. However, convincing other nations to be transparent about their defense-related research may prove challenging, if not impossible. There remains a fundamental tension between pursuing AI for national security interests while promoting it for global good. This cooperation also relies on the tenuous assumption that America's regulatory approach will match consensus abroad. If US guidelines become overly restrictive compared to other countries, it could disadvantage technological leadership. Then again, America setting the pace could pressure allies to follow suit while sending a message to adversaries. Does America dare risk falling behind in the name of cooperation? This order undoubtedly marks a dramatic turning point as AI comes under unprecedented US government purview. Its promise reflects recognition at the highest levels that artificial intelligence left unchecked poses threats eclipsing any technology before it. However, executing this vision requires navigating complex technical realities alongside competing social priorities. Can novel harms be prevented proactively while still nurturing growth? Will the public interest remain protected if threats are exaggerated and innovation stifled? The months and years ahead will reveal whether this landmark order ultimately bends the arc of AI toward justice. And that's all for today. Be sure to subscribe to our channel AI Talks for more in-depth insights and discussions on what's happening in the AI world.